Hello everyone, welcome to Conscious Marketing Movement podcast, where we bring you thought-provoking conversations to challenge traditional marketing practices and inspire a new paradigm to shape the future of marketing for a better tomorrow. So whether you're listening to us on your commute or at home with your favorite beverage, make yourself comfortable and enjoy the episode. Okay, Claudia, hello!
Hello! I can't believe that you are here with me in Dresden.
I know.
It's so amazing that we have this opportunity to talk in person after being together, working together more or less for 1 year now.
Yeah, it's really nice to be like, you are a real person. I can
Yes.
see you and I can feel. So anyone who's working online, you will probably relate. So thank you so much for hosting me and opening your heart and your business to me and for us to create this podcast together. I'm very excited.
So excited to have you here with me and really to be in person, visit Dresden together where I live, have the opportunity to record this beautiful podcast in person and just get to know you better.
I know. So let's start, I guess, at the beginning. You created and united conscious marketers and entrepreneurs from all over the globe with the help of Conscious Marketing Movement, an online community that challenges traditional marketing practices and says, right, okay, we can do this better. We can find the way to do marketing that is serving the communities, serving the planet, and businesses at the same time. So kind of moving from what you say, from profit at all costs to purpose-driven approach. So can you tell us more about how do you go about creating impact?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this amazing question. So the conscious marketing movement is all about different parts of creating impact. First of all, we started by building an online community where we could connect people from all over the world. And in this community, we have events where people can learn a lot about different ways to do marketing. For example, these events can touch on storytelling, digital sustainability, and so much more. And besides that, we are also organizing a co-living retreat where we can meet in person, just like Daiva and I are doing here. We are now creating this amazing podcast together so that we can reach the wider public and spread the word and spread the message that marketing and communication does not need to be the bad guys club. We can turn it into the good guys club, and marketing and communications can be used for good. And you're not alone, There are lots of us out there who are doing amazing things in this field, and we are just scattered all over the world. And to me, I see this vision of all of us coming together collectively to learn from one another, to co-create the industry, a new paradigm together. I'm really excited to see that after 1 year working in the conscious marketing movement, we can already see the impact in the people that have been part of the online community and how they have changed their own practices and how they are stopping and thinking, is this something that feels right when they are doing some campaign or some tactic and so on. And I think that's already so important to just stop and think, hey, does this feel right, or am I just being conditioned to do this because of studies or seeing other people online doing similarly and so on.
I think that's one of my favorite aspects of the community, actually. When, as a marketer, for example, when I work, there's a lot of questions that come on daily basis. And because we are changing the way we do things, we don't know. We don't just simply have all the answers. So that community is an amazing place where on kind of daily basis, I just drop a message and be like, okay, this is my question. Can you help me reflect? There's no right or wrong, I guess. But in terms of ethics and moving away from manipulative tactics, am I in the right direction? So thank you for creating that. It's amazing. People can interpret conscious marketing in different ways. Can you tell us what is conscious marketing to you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this question, Daiva. Actually, it's a question that I'm asked very, very often, for sure. I wanted to bring us first to the problem so that we can understand conscious marketing, the solution, right? So we live in a world where we are exposed to products and services all the time. So in the past, our parents could just see advertisements in newspapers or when they go out and the billboards and things like that. But right now, we are exposed to promotions of products and services full time, all the time, on our phones, and anywhere we go, there's things to buy. And this has led to a crisis of overconsumption. Marketing and communications, it's at the forefront of this. It is time to think, like, do we want to continue operating in the same way? Do we want to just drive this overconsumption and basically have tactics that trigger people to buy something they don't really need? It's all driven by manipulation. And so these tactics are very frequent in the online space, particularly. So there is, for example, charm pricing, the $9.99s. Like, it triggers someone through psychology, that this is actually very cheap, but it's not. What's the difference between $9.99 and 10?
Yeah.
It's 1 cent, it's nothing. We are just thinking that this is a good deal because of the way that the price is done. And then another very frequent tactic that we see is exaggerated claims. For example, this values like 1,000 euros, but you can get it for 100.
Oh, we see it all the time.
Like, why? This is so exaggerated to get something that values 1,000 euros for actually 100 euros. It's very, very strange. And then another tactic that is used again and again, it's fake scarcity. The only 2 spots left, but actually we know that you actually have 10 spots left or whatever it is, or probably even more, right? And so it's used so that someone thinks that they are gonna miss out on something and they have to act now. And that brings me to fake urgency. People feel that if they don't act now, they are gonna miss out on this amazing opportunity and they will never have it again, and so on. So all of these tactics are really some sort of violent ways that marketing has used to bring people to buy something they don't need, pretty much, And so we want to move away from these tactics and bring conscious marketing into the picture. So to me, conscious marketing is all about clarity, choice, consent, calmness, and compassion. There are 5 C's of conscious marketing. And this is what we really do differently. We move away from the other violent tactics, and we are all about doing things differently. And we talk a lot about what this exactly means inside the community and the tactics that we can use that are all about empathy at the end of the day for our potential customer. And instead of triggering them, we want them to make these decisions based on education. We want these decisions to be intentional. So we want
where the choice comes in, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we giving them a choice.
Yes.
And to say, like, you don't need to buy this, like, take your time. And this is where slowness comes in, We don't rush them.
Clarity is basically about being very clear what the offer is, what the product and the service, what is the needs, what is the problem that this product or service is solving. When it comes to choice is yes, allowing people to choose whether they want this product or service or not. We don't want to trigger them to just making this decision impulsively. We want them to take their time really to think whether this is right for them. And then calmness is just also enjoying the process of marketing and communication, because it's so beautiful to be able to tell a story to someone, because marketing is also about storytelling, and inspiring others to know more about a certain brand, and understand whether it aligns with their values. It's equally important. And one thing that we are very particular about when it comes to conscious marketing is to move away from the fear-based marketing tactics and really instead inspire others. We want to be positive, we want others to feel like they're making a decision because they are inspired by this product and service or this brand, or because it aligns with their values. We do provide them the information they need to make this decision without an overload of information as well, because that's what we are exposed all the time, a lot of information, and that does not help when it comes to decision making.
No.
So just like the information they need, and also like how their life would potentially change with this product and service instead of like making them feel really down. Like, for example, let's say there is a cream, for your face, and let's say that you have some pimples. And so the usual status quo is like, oh, your face looks terrible and you have so many pimples and you need this cream and whatsoever. The inspiration would be like, this cream will help you to feel more comfortable with your own skin, no matter whether you have like pimples or not. Like really much more empathic kind of approach, and really at the center of like not contributing to the mental health crisis that also marketing and communication has driven, because people feel awful. I mean, anytime that I'm in social media, I just feel like I'm not good enough and I should do more courses and I should buy more things. I just don't have enough. It's really like so toxic, to be part of the online environment, particularly social media today. And that's the difference also between our grandparents and parents. They have not been exposed to this online environment 24/7 like the Gen Z and millennials and the next generation is being exposed. Mental health is really such a massive problem today, and marketing and communications has a role to play in this too. And so we have to move away from making people feel really bad.
Yeah. And thank you for bringing this up, because this is what our intention is with this podcast as well. We're going to be looking at different causes with each episode. And we talked about social media addiction. We're going to talk about climate crisis in the first season. So we'll be unpacking a lot of big questions. And what I really like, what you're sharing, is that sense of responsibility. We say, look, we as an industry and people who worked in the industry kind of messed up for a long time.
Yes.
We've done a lot of damage, and now it's up to us and the generation that comes after us to show that if we're going to continue doing this, if we're going to continue, because marketing industry is not going away, let's just be realistic. And that's something that I really struggled to accept, because I was like, everything needs to stop, all the businesses need to shut down. And then you kind of like grow up a little bit and be like, okay, well, this is not going away. The solution is to find those new ways of doing things and taking that responsibility and say, yes, I've done it too, but now I'm ready to change.
Yes, responsibility is so important. And also that brings us to the question about whether brands are doing much more greenwashing today, and how can we move away from that. If we think about it, brands are trying to tell their potential customers that they are aligned with their values, but in fact, they're not, right? So it is so important that marketing works together with sustainability communications professionals, people that really are experts in these areas, because marketeers have not studied in university, school, or there are no programs really accessible for us to understand exactly whether we are greenwashing or not. So it is so important that marketing and communications kind of gets together almost in the same department with sustainability experts, and really question whether we are promoting this product and service in a transparent way, or are we just manipulating people as well. It's just a new form of manipulation.
It has been going on for a while now. I think greenwashing is such a big issue. Luckily, we have Green Claims Directive that came into play. So now we have some sort of guidelines, and we do have pressure, a legal pressure, not to greenwash. So that is a progress in this space. Again, when the new legislation comes in, it shakes the whole industry, and then people kind of move into fear of like, oh, I don't know how to communicate about this. So we as communicators also take that responsibility to study and show good examples and lead companies in a better ways of doing things, and actually challenge them.
Yes.
Taking that, being brave enough to working with brands and say, is your product or service actually in service of the communities, the planet, and the rest of everything that is alive, or is you just put a green sticker saying that it's green? So we do take that responsibility to educate. So it's actually a really exciting journey.
Yes, it's not easy, I would say. I have a lot of compassion for other marketeers out there, because sometimes you do question your potential supervisors and so on, and you kind of are told like, just go with what works and make it pop, and all of those things that we usually experience. I really think that we have a lot of power into influencing how businesses are conducting themselves. costs too, because if we say no, if we refuse promoting this product and service in the way that we are being told and say, no, this doesn't feel right because they're not exactly doing this, it is a lot of responsibility to take in our shoulders, I would say.
It is. I guess we can just educate ourselves as much as we can. And,
Yes.
and then through learning, through applying those learnings in real life with clients, just kind of get better and share. And that's why the community is amazing, because we are all kind of experimenting, finding those better ways, and sharing what each of us are working on is just really, really helpful. So then eventually we can find maybe some really common grounds of guidebooks and, and all the other resources.
Yeah, case studies and everything. I think it's also a lot about progress over perfection, because we can definitely not achieve perfection ever, so I think we need to really take the steps to educate ourselves and others more, so that we can bring a better world when it comes to talking about sustainability and what are the sustainability practices that the companies and the NGOs are doing.
And now when it comes to challenges, because we are talking about when it comes to any sort of change making, you face a lot of challenges and a lot of backlash. And I do too, when I bring this stuff in the space. And this is where really juicy conversations start. And I'm really looking forward, because it's all nice, to sit down and agree. But I'm really looking forward to be challenged and be because that's going to make us kind of become better at what we do, I guess. So what are the main challenges you're experiencing right now with this concept of conscious marketing?
Thank you so much. I think the main challenge that I experience over and over again is skepticism. So people always associate some sort of conscious marketing is fluff, and it's not at all. It's really about bringing results as well. We want businesses to succeed, basically. Yes. We are not against profit, Profit is just a way for businesses to continue and contribute and have an impact, And so we are not anti-profit. We want businesses to grow. And so sometimes there's this idea that conscious marketing is anti-growth. No, it's just we are not about growth at all costs. And so for us, it's very important that we achieve those results. And we are working also on case studies to show that conscious marketing does work, because we are building relationships. At the forefront of conscious marketing is building relationships with people. And so people buy from people they know, they trust, they are inspired from. It is equally effective. And on top, conscious marketing is intentional, because when someone purchases from you because they really wanted to make that purchase instead of being triggered, they are much more likely to stay and become even potential brand ambassadors, or to buy again and to refer them to others. It's really about caring for others. We have a very caring perspective. So we don't just do any campaigns or any copywriting or any visuals just to get people to buy something quickly. So it might take more time to get there, but it is equally effective, because we are really getting the right people to make those purchases instead of anyone. Because when you have just anyone making those purchases, they might not be happy about what they bought, and they might not
really know what they're buying in the first place, right?
Exactly. So they might even leave, and they might leave you a bad review even, because that's not exactly what they wanted and they were tricked into buying it. At the end of the day, conscious marketing is about bringing results, is about profit, is about growing, but not at all costs. Really about intentional growth and conscious growth, and considering the people and the planet, not stimulating overconsumption. We want, yes, these purchases to be done because people really need that product or service.
And this is where it comes the kind of the 3 Ps that I also like to look at, which is product, purpose, and people. And before you even go out in the world and promote your services, really work on those 3 Ps, right? What is your purpose? Why do you exist in the first place? It was the purpose of your company. What are you putting out there in the world? Is it really needed? Is it really purposeful? And then the people, the community, right? So what you talked about, the loyalty. With traditional marketing practices, you can invest a lot of money in paid ads, quick sale, flashy discount, providing probably some free stuff on top, get this watch in order to, get this offer or whatever. And then eventually people get manipulated, sometimes not even understanding it. Then they make a purchase and then they don't probably stay because there's not that relationship that you talk about. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to explore that more and start building those case studies with you. And one of the principles also is slowness. So I'm really curious about this because the world we live in is so fast, right? We talked yesterday about the statistics that on TikTok right now, if Gen Z generation watches a TikTok reel and it's longer than 1 minute, they experience anxiety, right? So the pace that we live in is extremely fast. We go click, click, next, 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 next. And then, and these platforms, they are created to become addictive, which is very problematic in the first place. Yet we choose to stay on these platforms. So how can we do this differently again? And one of the aspects is slowness. So what I advise to my clients as well is finding your own rhythm. As a company together, if you're a solo entrepreneur, what is your rhythm? What do you feel comfortable with in terms of the frequency of posting, the themes that you're talking about? And a lot of marketing advice out there is, post as much as you can. Try to bash out 3 reels a day. I kid you not. Like there's teachings out there like that everywhere. And then it's like questioning yourself and then a lot of people that come to me, they say like, Dive, I can't do this. Like I physically, mentally have no capacity to do this. And then I have to become an entrepreneur and the content creator and, you just have to be everything in one. So slowness is one way of doing it, finding your rhythm. So maybe less posting 2-3 times a week, whatever.
Yeah, quality over quantity.
And quality over quantity and stick to that rhythm and trying to build in consistency. Because consistency, let's agree, that's what we need, right?
Yes, it's a long-term kind of game. I mean, for example, in 2022, I had only 1,000 followers on LinkedIn, and now I have 20,000 followers to this date. And it's all about consistency. I don't have viral posts and whatsoever. I'm really about a long-term kind of game and showing up with quality posts and what feels right for me and what I want to bring to others, and what are the teachings and how can I inspire others. And also always my posts are very community kind of led instead of being about me, because we are taught that self-promotion is the way to go to promote the business and so on. Yeah. And I really don't believe this is the answer.
And it's not working. Like, I'm sorry, but it's not about you.
Yes.
Right at the end of the day. Even when you're writing a copy on like about you page on the websites, it is not about you. It's about the people that you're serving. It's being in service. I think that's the big takeaway for me of the work that we are doing together and of this time as well. Asking yourself that question: how can I be in service?
Beautiful. I love it.
So in the current noise and consumptuous world that we live in, it's sometimes quite hard to keep the hope going. So what makes you hopeful and what are your aspirations for the future of marketing?
I believe that marketing can help in achieving all the sustainable development goals. Of course, we are more focused on goal 12, which is about responsible consumption and production for obvious reasons. But at the end of the day, if marketing and communications work together, if the industry works together, I really believe that we can achieve the sustainable development goals on time. And I'm very hopeful for that. I know that right now it doesn't seem like a very hopeful time because of a lot of crises that are going on in the world. And we have the privilege of being here together, happy and contributing in what we can. I really believe that the sustainable development goals are such a huge guideline for all businesses on how they should really operate for better. And also also I was so inspired by Sarah Santa Cruz, who brought up the inner development goals in one of our latest events. And I think they're just aligned so perfectly, you know. And if we can combine the inner development goals and also the sustainable development goals, we would definitely see a better world. And marketing and communications could be at the forefront of this, really.
What I'm really excited about, and we are both quite big dreamers, let's just put it out there. But I choose to be a dreamer, and some may call it, you know, being naive. But what I am really hopeful that we can take this to a level of legislation, because the way the practices are being done, they are very damaging and they are very harmful. And just by having this conversation, I hope we are raising some awareness about the problem and just putting the idea in people's minds, am I buying this because I really need this? Why am I choosing this product or service? Just, yeah, a bit more mindfulness in the world.
Yes, it's about making conscious marketing mainstream at the end of the day, you know, making the normal practice instead of making it something niche. That's not what we want. We really want conscious marketing to be just normal marketing, you know?
Right, and this is why the movement comes in. So maybe you can share a little bit about why you decided to call it a movement, because it is a business, right? And some people have questions around that.
Yes, so I really believe that there is no place for this distinction. Non-profits are the good guys and the businesses are the bad and greedy ones. I really believe in a new business paradigm where both come together, where we have purpose-driven businesses. And I really wanted the conscious marketing movement to walk the talk, to show that this is possible. And to me, this thing that we are creating, this business that we are creating, is about social change, is about a change in the culture, in the change of we do things and so on, societal change at the end of the day. And so to me, it makes perfect sense to call this business a movement, because it really changes things. And we should see businesses as a way to do things differently instead of the bad guys kind of club. So it brings us back to this idea that, okay, big corps are just the bad guys and the NGOs are the good ones, but this is not a sustainable future, because then they are working against each other. And so we want a future where we are collaborating and we are changing things together instead of working separately, because we are so much stronger when we are together instead of apart.
And it is a big ask, because I do know some business owners that have quite big businesses, and there's just so much responsibility to run a business in the first place. And now we're asking them, you also need to change and heal the society and address a lot of issues. And that is a big challenge for businesses. So what your advice would be in terms of choosing maybe a cause that you want to support as a business?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's important to look at potentially one of the sustainable development goals and really contribute to this goal, instead of trying to choose 5 goals but then to contribute to none. And that becomes some sort of North Star as well, like where we want to head towards. So through this product and service, we also want to contribute to this. That's really important, that we don't just sell for selling, for getting money. I think that's quite an outdated perspective, and also the world that we live in. People want to work for companies that are aligned with their values. People want to buy from companies that are aligned with their values. We want to support those who are doing good. So there's a lot of incentives actually to change the current practices.
Yeah, it's a crazy percentage. Something like 75% of Gen Z is now asking for companies to do better, and they're choosing the companies based on what purpose they're standing behind. So either you want it or not, this is the direction we're going. And
yes,
that's
maybe for the big people, it's like they should see that this is equally profitable to go towards that direction, but that shouldn't be the main reason why that they are doing this. And that's what we are trying to say here. Conscious marketing is about aligning profits with purpose, and not two things that are distinct.
No. So you shared that this is a long-term journey, right? And to sustain yourself in this journey, you probably need to lean on a lot of things. And my question would be, what keeps you going every day when you wake up?
So I can't say that I wake up every day motivated. Sometimes I feel that it's such a heavy weight on my shoulders to go against the current and swim as hard as I can, and still seems that the current is taking me. It is a sea of practices and things that don't feel quite right, and it's sometimes so hard to stand out. But at the same time, I feel that this is a moral duty, that we need to change things, do things differently. So even though that I might not be every day motivated, and sometimes I feel like it's just too much, I still want to keep going because I really believe in our cause and the things that we are doing. And I believe that we are driving change. And the most important part is I'm surrounded by amazing people around me. So the community members, they all are absolutely amazing. They bring so many interesting questions, perspectives, and they're so supportive. And I have an amazing family who cares for me every day and supports me to be able to do this. And at the same time, I have amazing team members like you, Daiva, who are here for me and believe in what we are doing together and are so supportive. And I'm so lucky to have especially such a amazing group of women, you know, that are there like almost unconditionally, you know, supporting through the highs and the lows, because there are many highs, but there are also many lows. And sometimes we just sell this idea that like it's so easy to have your own business and being self-employed and you're just working at the beach all day, and you know, like you're not working at the beach all day. Sometimes I work on weekends, sometimes I take off a Wednesday, you know. It is like you do arrange your own schedule and work your way around things. But it is still equally difficult, you know, to be a solo founder. And that's why for me, again, community is everything. Being surrounded by amazing people is really what keeps me going.
Thank you so much, Claudia. It has been a really, really inspiring conversation. This is our first episode, and I hope we covered the ground of who we are, why we are here, and what we're trying to achieve. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the second episode.
Here's a poem about conscious marketing. Posting every day is not healthy for you or your followers. It keeps both of you glued to screens, far from nature. Social media does not define you. Beautiful, right? Yeah.